I feel like he's a hater.
Okay.
If I'm gonna be a 1,000%.
This is the Real Report show. It's all good. That's what we do.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
love to hear
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think he's a hater.
The war of words has just exploded. Terence Crawford fired back at Jaron "Boots" Ennis, accusing him of using his name to build his career.
I feel like, Boots, a whole motion is built off of Terence Crawford. He should thank me, to be honest, because if there was no Terence Crawford at this pinnacle, who would they be talking about? Who would they be comparing him with? I remember when he was a couple of fights in and people were saying, hey man, it's this little kid. When he was an amateur, in the Olympic trials, they was like, man, this dude fight like you, bud. This dude fight like you. When he was pro, this dude remind me of you.
And calling out what he sees as disrespect. However, Crawford later pushed back against the idea that there is any personal dislike between them. He explained that he has supported Boots throughout his journey, from the Olympic trials to showing up for his fights, and made it clear that he wants to see him succeed, continue improving, and reach the highest level possible in boxing.
A lot of people say, oh man, Bud always hating, like what I had.
Despite Crawford's comments, Boots remained focused on his own path. He dismissed the outside criticism, making it clear that negativity does not affect him. Confident in his abilities, he continued to back himself as the best fighter at 154 pounds and vowed to keep proving his worth every time he steps into the ring.
I don't pay that no mind though. None of that stuff be bothering me, but like I said, I'm the best at 154. Everybody know it, and I'm gonna keep stamping each other every time out.
Meanwhile, Brian Norman Sr. gave Boots credit for his talent, but questioned whether he had proven himself as a truly special fighter. He believes Boots has the skills to compete at the highest level, but still needs to show the qualities that separate elite fighters from the very best.
I think that Boots is a good fighter, but I think he's no better than anybody else. I do not think he's a special talent. I have never thought he was a special talent. You feel what I'm saying?
On the other side, Akinyemi Oyibo defended Boots against Crawford's criticism, noting that Crawford also faced doubts about his level of opposition earlier in his career. He argued that Boots is still building his resume and should not be judged by the same standards as a fighter already at the end of his journey.
If you look at Crawford's career, until the end of his career, Crawford hadn't fought anybody that people thought that had a chance against him. You know what I'm saying? That was his biggest criticism, was his strength of opposition. So for him to use that same criticism on an up-and-coming Boots not at the tail end of his career, he's ascending.
However, Andy Ruiz offered a much different assessment of the comparison. He believes Crawford remains on another level compared to Boots at this stage, holding advantages in experience, skill, star power, and overall marketability. In Ruiz's view, Crawford's accomplishments and established status.
Well, I think it's attention, but Terence is on another level right now. I mean, he's on another level.
When you say another level, do you mean like marketability-wise, name-wise, or you mean talent-wise?
All the above. All the above.
Separate him from the younger contender. Meanwhile, Bob Arum explained why he views Crawford as one of the sport's most difficult fighters to figure out. He highlighted Crawford's rare ability to fight effectively from both orthodox and southpaw stances, making it difficult for opponents to prepare for his adjustment. Arum believes that versatility and unpredictability have played a major role in Crawford's continued success.
Crawford is an awfully good fighter, and it would take a real wizard to beat him. Crawford has something that no other fighter around has, and people haven't commented on it, and that is he fights equally well as a southpaw or as a right-hander. And so when you train for a fight, usually the fighter he's fighting trains for him as an orthodox fighter, right-handed fighter. And so from the first round on, he'll turn southpaw, and the guy isn't ready for him. That's what beat him beat Spence.
While the Crawford debate continues, attention is also shifting toward Boots' next potential challenge. A possible clash between Jaron "Boots" Ennis and Sebastian Fundora is gaining momentum, with both sides moving closer to what could become one of the biggest fights in the junior middleweight division.
Well, if you listen to Boots, what's next? Boots already sound on Fondora. I think Fondora is one of the best fighters in that division.
Adding more fuel to the anticipation, Boots Ennis showed respect for the potential opponent. He praised Sebastian Fundora as one of the top fighters at 154 pounds and welcomed the idea of his son facing him. Boots also suggested that the matchup could come together later this year, showing confidence that both sides are open to making the fight happen.
Fondora. I think Fondora is one of the best fighters in that division. And Boots sound Fondora. So Fondora said he's going to fight Boots. So it'll probably be in December. Probably be. I'm just throwing it off because Fondora going to fight now.
Boots also welcomed the possibility of facing Sebastian Fundora, viewing it as the type of high-profile fight fans have been waiting for. He believes Fundora's championship pedigree and towering size would make for a unique challenge, while giving him another opportunity to prove himself against one of the division's toughest opponents.
I feel like Fundora a big fight because he got a belt and he's 6'5" or 6'6" or something like that. That's something that everybody gonna want to go see that. Like, they want to see how I match up against that.
However, Robert Garcia sees the matchup from a different angle. He believes Fondora's unusual style and physical advantages could create major problems for Boots, pointing to the champion's height, awkward movement, and continued improvement as key factors. Because of the stylistic matchup, Garcia feels Fundora could have the edge if the two fighters eventually meet.
Against Fundora, man, I think it's tough, man. Fondora has a style that's not going to make you look good. I would say I favor Fondora on that one, man. It's a fight that's not going to be easy for Boots because styles make fights, and Fondora lately, since he became champion, he's getting better and better and better. Ain't nothing stopping Fundora right now.
Breaking down the matchup further, Garcia explained why Fundora is such a difficult challenge. He feels the ideal opponent for Fundora would be someone who applies non-stop pressure, attacks the body, and refuses to let him dictate the pace. Since Boots is better known for his speed, movement, and technical skills rather than constant pressure, Garcia questioned whether his style would be enough to overcome Fundora's unique advantages.
The only thing that could stop Fundora is a pressure fighter that's not gonna give up and he's gonna keep coming, working the body, and just kind of bullying Fundora into a fight, pressuring him into a tough fight. I think that's the style that might hurt Fundora. But Boots could also fight smart. He's a good. He's got good footwork too. He's got good speed. So I don't think Boots is the type of brawler that's gonna push Fundora back. So I think that right there, I favor Fundora on that one. I think so. I think it's probably a mistake for them to take that.
On the other hand, Brian McIntyre had plenty of respect for both fighters, applauding Sebastian Fundora for bouncing back strongly after suffering the first defeat of his career. He also praised Boots for continuing to overcome tough tests on his rise through the division. McIntyre believes both have proven themselves at the highest level, making a potential showdown exactly the kind of fight boxing fans want to see.
You look at Fondora with the range and the height he got, even though he'd been beat before, since then he's just been cleaning them up. Yeah. And so we all waiting to see, when those two or three, like the four kings, when they tangle. So we, as boxing fans, we just sit back and wait.
Yeah. Is it kind of nice to not be part of that, the politics? You could be a fan.
I love it.
You don't have to deal with the nonsense, right?
I love it, man. I love it. I love the part that, like you said, just sit back and watch them, see how it all play out.
Yeah.
And so, Boots, he got over that hurdle
However, Tim Bradley leaned toward Boots when analyzing the stylistic battle. He believes Ennis has the athletic ability and offensive weapons needed to offset Fondora's size and reach advantages. Bradley highlighted Boots' speed, explosive combinations, quick reactions, and body attacks, arguing that those qualities could create major problems for Fundora and give him the tools to compete with the much larger champion.
Boots has the style that I believe that can give him fits because of his elusiveness. And Boots is quick on the trigger. He's not as long as this guy, but he's not, he got about 74. This other, Fondora has about 80-inch reach. But he has a quick first step. He throws combinations. He is a risk taker. He's a hell of a body puncher. He has a large toolbox, I think, that can give a guy like Fondora issues.
At the same time, Bradley also acknowledged why Fundora remains such a dangerous opponent. He pointed to the champion's massive frame, southpaw stance, power, and improved control of distance as key factors that make him difficult to solve. Bradley explained that anyone trying to close the gap must deal with Fondora's non-stop offense, and despite his previous knockout loss, he still considers him one of the toughest matchups in the 154 pounds division.
I feel that Kiev could give Boots a run from his money. He could. And I only say that because of his attributes. Not because of his boxing skills. It's because of his attributes. That's why. This guy has, and it's Sebastian Fundora. You guys know who he is. He's a southpaw too, right? He has range. He has volume. He has punching power as well. Okay? He knows how to keep his distance. He's difficult. I know he's been knocked out before. I know that. But you got to go through a dang rain of fire to be able to get close to this guy. If he don't want you to get close.
Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn focused on the unique challenge Fundora presents inside the ring. He believes the champion's unusual style and physical advantages make him one of the hardest fighters to prepare for. However, Hearn remains confident in Boots' ability to adapt, pointing to his ring intelligence, versatility, and problem-solving skills as qualities that could help him overcome Fondora's difficult style.
Got to be good enough to adapt to everything, and that's the problem. A lot of these guys, no disrespect to Keith Thurman, he's been done for a while, but Tim Tszyu, these kind of guys, they're all great fighters, but they just can't adapt to styles. Josh has got an unbelievable IQ. Boots has probably got the best IQ in the game, I think. They can adapt in those kind of fights, and that's what you need to do, because Fondora is a massive problem. Because how do you prepare for it? I mean, so until you get in there, start getting hit by these arms coming from...
Adding another perspective, Shawn Porter leaned toward Boots because of his overall skill set and athletic ability. He highlighted Ennis' speed, explosiveness, and complete boxing skills as major advantages, but also warned that Fondora's awkward approach and rare physical dimensions create a challenge unlike anything most fighters face. Porter believes preparation could play a major role, with the right game plan potentially deciding whether Boots can overcome Fondora's unique style.
It looks like he's supposed to beat Sebastian Fundora because he's so fast, because he's so electric, because he's shown tremendous power, because he's shown so many different movements and techniques, and everything jumps off the screen when it's Boots Ennis. But then when you got, like I always like to say, another weapon standing across from you, negating some of the things you do, forcing you to turn off some of the stuff you do. Now here's the thing that makes this guy dangerous to Boots. What I feel I know about Boots, I don't know if they game plan. To me, it seems like Boots is like, and Dad Bozy, we just gonna get you ready. Can't nobody beat you. Well, sometimes you gotta get ready for the guy across from you. And what I now know about this dude, he getting ready for who's across from him. And that's why I'm breathing like that, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to be ready, he's going to have the right weapons, and he's going to be calling on the right weapons all night.
Meanwhile, Paul Malignaggi focused on how much Fundora has developed throughout his career. He believes the champion has transformed into a more complete and disciplined fighter, improving his movement, range control, and overall approach. Malignaggi also emphasized that Fundora still carries the toughness, size, and physical strength that have always made him one of the most difficult opponents in the division.
Fondora's made a lot of adjustments to his style since he's getting better. Fondora's getting better, and Fondora's becoming more and more difficult to deal deal with. He's understanding how to adjust his distance, and a guy who knows how to measure his distance at 6'5", 6'6" at junior middleweight is very, very tough. This Fondora is a bit more difficult to get to, but he knows how to take the half steps back, push out, slide in and slide out, and make you pay. And he can still punch, and he's still resistant.
From another angle, Gary Russell Jr. explained what Boots must do to overcome those challenges. He believes Ennis will need more than just his natural ability, as Fondora's unusual dimensions require a carefully planned approach. Russell stressed the importance of closing the gap effectively, staying mobile, applying pressure, and combining his offense with solid defense to give himself the best chance of success.
He really has to go chase his man down. It's always like they either the same height, the styles make it where as though they just like in the center pocket, middle of the ring, and they just going like skill for skill. You know what I mean? With this 7'8" tall guy, he like 7'8". He's not about to stand there. He might, you know, but Boots is really going to have to show a different side of his ability. He's going to have to walk forward. He's going to have to move his head a lot more, not just be defensive discipline, but he's going to have to work in between. He's going to have to be defensive and offensively equally as good. You know what I mean? He's going to have to work it together simultaneously, dealing with Fondora.
Adding to the discussion, Chris Algieri highlighted why Fondora remains such a difficult opponent to prepare for. He believes the champion's rare size and unconventional style create problems that few fighters can replicate in training. Algieri also pointed to Fondora's growth as a boxer, praising his improved patience, sharper jab, and better defensive awareness. At the same time, he remains confident in Boots' abilities, believing his talent and skill set give him the tools to compete with anyone in the division.
Fondora is such a difficult puzzle. He's so long, and he's getting better. He's improving. He's improving. He's learning how to use his size. He's using his jab. He's being more disciplined. He's not taking risks like he used to. Talk about a guy who used to allow people to hit him and then has figured out that you shouldn't do that at the highest level in that Brian Mendoza fight. But since then, he's been very, very good. So, yeah, I can understand why people would see him as the final guy, because, again, with those physical advantages and the way that he's getting better, very, very difficult to deal with. And Jaron, with the level of talent he has, he can beat anybody on any given night. So, yeah, it's a really interesting.
Continuing that analysis, Shawn Zittel explained how Fondora has become more effective at maximizing his physical advantages. He believes the champion has developed a much smarter approach to using his height and reach, allowing him to control distance and keep opponents uncomfortable. Although Zittel acknowledged that Fondora is not a traditional defensive technician, he praised his improved decision-making, higher fight IQ, and patience, noting that he has become less reckless and more calculated in the ring.
Height, and he's getting better at using that height. He's gotten a lot better at doing it. It's making him harder to beat. But the downside of his frame is his waist is not flexible, and thus there's going to be really no head movement from Sebastian Fundora. His defense is his offense, and his defense, what makes him harder to hit, is using the most of his distance and of his height and having a good sense of distance, when not to force the uppercut, which he doesn't do anymore really, when to, you know, the right punch at the right distance, and the volume of punches is his defense. But I felt that he did show being more defensively sound, and he even took a step back once or twice or three times, which for him is a significant development, okay? This is a guy who would just go downhill, downhill, downhill off his jab, and you could just wing shots, and he's going to be right there, and you're going to knock his head around.
Stephen Edwards viewed Sebastian Fundora as a difficult challenge due to his unusual size, toughness, and ability to dictate the pace behind his jab. However, he believes the champion has shown weaknesses before, pointing to the loss against Brian Mendoza as proof that Fundora can be pressured and broken down. Edwards feels Boots has the accuracy, power, and offensive mindset needed to take advantage of those moments and make the matchup highly competitive.
So he's a difficult guy. He has a very unique skill set because he's 6'6" with a jab and he has heart. But we got to remember, Fondora was knocked out brutally by Brian Mendoza. Like, that really happened. Everybody wants to act like it didn't happen, but it happened. And I think I'm not sure. I think Boots stopped Fondora within like 3 rounds, like on some Hagler Hearns, just brutality. Yeah, I think he's just too big of a target. And I'm telling you, Mills, Boots is mean. He's a mean dude. He doesn't act like it, and because he don't talk and talk shit, everybody think that like he's not. He's a mean little sadistic type of dude that like want to beat on you and hurt you. And I think you got to be like that with Fondora because you can't play with him.
Stephen Edwards believes Fondora's physical gifts make him one of the most complicated fighters to prepare for, especially because of his towering frame, toughness, and ability to keep opponents at the end of his punches. Still, Edwards does not view him as unbeatable, noting that the champion has been hurt and exposed before, particularly in the loss to Brian Mendoza. In his opinion, Boots has the timing, sharp combinations, and offensive firepower to exploit those weaknesses if he can consistently find the right openings.
I think Boots, people are not going to like this, right? I think Boots could get Fondora out there early. Because I think that stylistically, Fondora is too big of a target. And you give a sharpshooter like that a big target, he's going to be able to hit him anywhere. He's not going to be able to miss him. Boots throws real good looping shots. Fondora's using his jab more, and he's using the distance more, but he still can't move his head. Nobody 6'6" can move their head.
With opinions split and excitement continuing to build, a potential showdown between Boots and Sebastian Fundora has all the ingredients to become one of the biggest fights at 154 pounds. If the matchup gets finalized, who do you think comes out on top? Let us know your prediction in the comment. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more boxing news and updates.